Again, hear me out. Welcome to my channel, KC, that's me, Carrie Chug, the Sledge Storyteller, here to talk about the wonderful world of storytelling and to open up discussion about how we can tell the best stories we can by talking about movies, everything good, bad, from a storytelling standpoint. Now, after the massive success of Batman in 1989, Warner Brothers naturally wanted to ride that same wave with a sequel. And, there were a lot of bold moves made along the way that some will call missteps, but there's enough love for this sequel from those who swear by its visual approach, character build-ups, use of German expressionism, and creating another Tim Burton trope, a macabre atmosphere set during the Christmas season. Now, last week I told you that I like Batman 1989, though I do have fundamental issues. Batman Returns, I do like it. And, positive side thins out a little bit more than with Batman. Now, I mentioned last week that I'm heavily invested in the physicality of Batman. For me, the bulky, rock-solid stature is symbolic of Batman being a product of his own hard work. So, again, I can't be that invested in Michael Keaton's casting, and before you dish out arguments that I don't know enough about Keaton behind the scenes, watch last week's video where I do go into greater detail on that subject. And again, all things subjective. If you think this is the best movie made, period, all cool. I'm a firm believer in the subjectivity of storytelling. So if you see all kinds of good with this, by all means, take it. We all find our own good. We all have our own experience that takes on that good. Now, among my positives with this year's The Batman, I see the exact opposite in Batman Returns. I love how in The Batman, the Gotham police force, they factor into the story's resolution heavily. Whereas in Batman Returns, the police are pretty much a non-factor. In the opening conflict, the biggest threat from the Penguins gang being mostly bikers wearing skull helmet masks, then an arsonist blowing a torch, and jugglers on stilts. It feels a lot like Tim Burton is drawing upon the shady side of the carnival trope and, giving it a cartoony feel. Also, while his Batman is much the same in demeanor, something feels different about Keaton's Bruce Wayne. They seem to want to sacrifice the persona of the public Bruce Wayne we saw in the previous movie, who would attend the Gotham tree lighting ceremony, for one who would, for just one scene, turn recluse, so we would have a dramatic reveal. But, as the movie progresses, Bruce has no trouble at all being out in public or, hearing an investment offer from Max Schreck in his office. And one big obvious thing in the climax that makes no sense is why Batman would reason with Catwoman, with Schreck, that he should take him to the police and spare his life and, not the circus muscle man, and then unmasks himself in front of both of them. She had known for about an hour, but given Schreck that kind of leverage, he would no doubt use against him after being taken to the police. Somewhat related to that, Batman 89 showed Commissioner Gordon at first feeling uneasy about Batman fighting crime on his own, and that does work for the first chapter, and as you'd expect, toward the end of Batman 89, he voices his approval of Batman to the public at the end. So, by this movie, I expected a well-developed working relationship. In Batman Returns, Batman and Gordon have one interaction just after the Penguins' initial attack.
Thanks for saving the day, Batman. I'm afraid the circus gang is back.
We'll see.
So Batman has a total of 2 words total for Gordon, and it's over in less than 20 minutes into the movie. The movie was getting made 4 years after Batman Year One came out, which jump-started the working relationship between Batman and Gordon with greater substance. There was a lot to reference from to add that same substance to the movie, and we get about 5 seconds of interaction. Lastly, in my previous video, Should Superheroes Kill?, I said I can root for a hero who kills when in the middle of a scrap where so many bad guys are coming for you, or if the immediate stakes are high, even when it comes to Batman, I'm not so in favor of the hero killing arbitrarily when the threat doesn't seem to be that big. But that's all the bad. Okay, so I have given Batman Returns a bigger beating than Batman 89, and if that hasn't gotten your goat and you're still watching, Batman Returns has a better structured plot than Batman 89, deeper insight into the villains as characters, and it handles the character relationships in a fascinating manner. Shrek has dealings with both Selina and Penguin, and while Selina as Catwoman in cahoots with the Penguin, neither one of them has any idea of Shrek's dealings with the other. Batman is at war with both Penguin and his gang and Catwoman, while as Bruce Wayne, he seeks to court Selina and takes issue with Shrek and his campaigning for Penguin as mayor of Gotham City. Now, often people complain when in the stories the hero has connections with the villain, but here the connections branch in a completely unconventional fashion. While the action gets goofy at times, the fight choreography does get exciting. Michael Keaton as Batman still effectively gives that piercing stare, the raspy voice, and brave composure. Michelle Pfeiffer works as Catwoman as Selina Kyle. The hopelessly lonely secretary type had already gotten old by 1992. But the Selina and Catwoman with bad blood against both Shrek and Penguin shows all the right actions and emotions. Back in the day, Danny DeVito was the elephant in the room obvious casting choice. At the time, Penguin was pretty dimensional and gimmicky. Colin Farrell had the advantage of getting the part after he had gotten more fleshed out as a mob boss in the comics. But Burton and DeVito managed to add new dimension to the character by adding a tragic angle to him, as well as a shady history. He's convincingly opportunistic, shifty, and quirky. I've been a long-time fan of Christopher Walken, and I knew that he had the goods to play an intimidating villain who plays people close to him like chess pawns. We get that very well done. Michael Goff is still good as Alfred. Pat Hingle doesn't get as much to do as I feel he should, but does well with what he's given. Michael Murphy does fine as the mayor. For me, it was always a delight for Vincent Schiavelli and his unique quirkiness to randomly pop up in any movie, and such is the case here as the Penguin henchman. The climax was pretty bizarre, but had intensity and drama as Batman thwarts Penguin's evil plots and Selina's vendetta against Shrek comes to a head. Danny Elfman veers from the high-octane Batman 89 score that he made to a much more haunting, atmospheric score here that matches that chilling mood that the movie is supposed to create. Overall, this is a Batman that dips into the macabre style of Batman, a tradition that many creators have accentuated at varying degrees from his inception in 1939. That has always found an audience. No surprise that Batman Returns has its own niche cult following. Me, it's something I feel drawn to watch about every 5 years, but that's my take on Batman Returns. Thank you again for watching. Agree, disagree, or something I left out? Please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please click subscribe or follow me on Instagram. As always, the link to order Sledge number 1 and 2 through Indie Planet will always be in the link in the description. Available on both digital and paper format, or you can order Sledge number 1 on Kindle in both formats. I'm getting pages completed from Tiago on a regular basis for Sledge number 3, and that's got me excited. But let's all look for civility amid all bad news out there about social and political strife, as well as the pandemic. Let's try to get along. Let's try to see the good in everybody and follow the precautions that have been given us. But thanks for watching. Everyone be safe, and God bless.